Today, I'm going to share with you how you can make $10 million a day as a solo player in GTA 5 Online. First, you'll need to have a nightclub. Now, they range from $1 to $2 million, but once you have one, you could then start making some passive income using the wall safe in the nightclub office. The way the wall safe works is depending on how popular your nightclub is, a certain amount of money will be deposited into it each in-game day or 48 minutes. If your popularity is maxed out, you'll have $50,000 deposited into the safe every day, which is an incredible amount of money, so that's the first thing you're going to want to set up. In order to maximize popularity, there's a few different things you could do, but I do suggest either switching DJs or doing any of the blue blips inside the nightclub, those random events. They will give you more popularity and they're just faster to do. Next, you'll need an acid lab. This is a business that is unlocked once you complete the first dose missions. You can pick it up for $750K, and you will need the equipment upgrade for it as well, which requires you to do 10 Fooligan missions. Once you have it, all you have to do is go over to Mutt or call him up on your phone, purchase supplies for $60,000, and those supplies over time will be turned into product, which we will later on sell for a profit. Now at this point, it's pretty obvious that you'll need a few businesses for this money method, so if you don't have the money for it or are just starting out in the game, I will leave a link to my complete guide in the description down below showing you how to go from $0 to 10 million. That will allow you to buy everything you need for today's money grind. With that being said, up next you'll need an agency because it allows us to do payphone hits and the Dr. Dre contract. But what's important right now is to do a payphone hit. These become available once you do 3 security contracts. Call up Franklin and request a payphone hit. It will take you to a nearest payphone where you can start up a simple assassination mission. For these, you have to take out one or multiple targets, and if you do that correctly while also completing a bonus challenge, you'll earn $85,000, and these usually take only about 5 minutes. Now these do have a 48-minute cooldown, and you're going to want to do these throughout the entire money grind, so make sure to set a timer so that you know when you can do it next. And with all that being said, we're now going to get into the first big portion of our money grind, which is completing a Cayo Perico heist. In order to do this, you'll have to have the Casaca submarine, which you could purchase off the Warstock Cash and Carry website for $2.2 million. Now this is the best way to make money in the entire game, which is why we are doing it right away, and we're going to be doing this multiple times throughout the grind. You could expect to make anywhere between $1.3 to $1.5 million every time you do it, and it should take between 45 to an hour and 15 minutes. One thing that really speeds up the process is getting the Sparrow helicopter because you could store it in the back of the submarine, but if you can't afford it, that's not a problem. So once that's done, we've now spent about an hour and 15 minutes setting up the nightclub, setting up the acid lab, doing a payphone hit, and doing our first Cayo Perico heist. So now that that's done, you're then going to head over to your pause menu, go over to online, down to manage characters, and we're now switching over to our secondary character on the account. Now the reason why we're doing this is every time you complete a Cayo Perico heist, there is a 2.5 hour cooldown before you could do the next one. But that only counts for the character that you did it on, which means we could switch over to our secondary character and start up another Cayo Perico heist. Now yes, it does mean you'll have to buy another Casaca on that character, but the two characters share a bank account, so all you have to do is make $2.2 million on your primary character, and then you could go over to your secondary character and purchase it there. So with that being said, you're then going to start up a second Cayo Perico heist on your secondary character, making you another $1.3 to $1.5 million. Once that's done, there's about another hour and a half before the cooldown for your first Cayo Perico heist is over, so you're going to switch back over to your main character and do a Dr. Dre contract, which once again can be done because we have the agency. The Dr. Dre contract is like a major heist. There are 3 mini heists plus 2 finale missions, and in total it will make you about $1.1 million for about an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of work. So at this point you've grinded for a couple hours on the main character, which means it's time to call up Mutt and resupply the acid lab for $60,000. And this is a great time to remind you to continue to do your payphone hits because over time they do add up. So with that being said, the next thing we are doing is going back into our third Cayo Perico heist on our main character, once again making $1.3 to $1.5 million. But if you're doing all of this back to back to back, you should have the Cayo Perico heist active on hard mode, meaning that you get a 10% buff on all of your loot, and the elite challenge now pays out $100,000 instead of $50. So you should be making closer to that $1.5 million. Once again, after completing the Cayo Perico heist on our main account, you're then going to want to switch over to your secondary account and do another Perico heist on that account. And finally, we are going to switch back to our main account after that to do a final Dr. Dre contract. So at this point, we should be close to $10 million. So to finish it off, we're going to head over to our acid lab and do a sell mission because we should have full stock at this point, but we're going to do it in a public lobby with 20 or more people so that we can earn a 50% bonus, bringing that total sale up to $500,000. You could then head over to your nightclub and collect what should be $250,000 from your nightclub wall safe, all made passively. And then of course, with all the payphone hits you've done over this money grind, 7-8 hours worth of work, you should have made $10 million. Now, yes, this is a long grind and this has been a lot of stuff to do, but this is what's required to make $10 million legit a day as a solo player. Now, if you do struggle with the Perico heist and the Dr. Dre contract, I'll leave links to my guides in the description down below, showing you the easiest ways to complete each. It's very simple once you get the hang of it. As for completing the Acid Lab sale missions, because you're doing them in public lobbies, you have to be very careful to not be griefed. A few tips I could give for that is 1, make sure to check out the lobby before you start up your sell mission. Look around, see if there's a bunch of people killing each other or a bunch of Oppressor Mark IIs flying around. That is usually a bad sign that you should not sell there. As well as selling at night does help because it does make it harder for people to see you and for other players to target you. The final tip I could give is to make sure to be a CEO when you go and do the sell mission. That way you could access the ghost organization abilities in your interaction menu. That will take you off the radar for 3 minutes, you and your product, so that way other players can't see you, try to grief you, and hopefully after 3 minutes they'll forget you're even doing the sell mission altogether. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the nightclub, you will have noticed that I did skip over the warehouse section of it when we first started up the money grind, and that's simply because you need to own a bunch of different businesses in order to make money with it. But if you are someone who has the money to buy the businesses or you already have them, here's a way to make an additional $250,000 to $500,000 with the warehouse. First, make sure you have all 5 technicians hired so that you can assign them to 5 businesses. But there's 5 in particular that you're going to need to assign them to because they will then earn you in total $50,000 worth of stock an hour. First, assign one to cargo and shipments. You'll need to own a CEO cargo crate warehouse or a hangar in order to do so. Second, sporting goods, which you'll need to own a bunker for. Third, South American imports, which you need a Coca-Cola lockup for, if you know what I'm talking about. Fourth, assign it to pharmaceutical research, which you'll need a blue stuff lab for. And finally, assign one to cash creation, which you need a counterfeit cash factory for. Assigning 5 technicians to these 5 businesses will generate you $50,000 worth of stock every single hour, which at the end of this money grind you could sell if you would like to make an additional, like I said, $250,000 to $500,000. Now, in order to maximize it, make sure to also get the equipment upgrade for the nightclub, but that is simply why I left this for the very end of the video, because most people won't have the money to do so. But if you can, make sure to do it. It's some free extra passive income. Anyways, I hope this video did help you out, and if you do enjoy videos like this and the videos I've been posting and aren't subscribed yet, please make sure to subscribe. I would appreciate it. With that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.